Hello students, in our series of learning theories, today we will talk about social constructivist theory given by Lev Vygotsky. So before that, let us talk what is social constructivism. Social constructivism is a sociological theory which emphasizes that all cognitive functions are dependent on interactions with others. It means our cognitive function changes with the help of the others, be it teachers, parents, or peers. And today we are going to talk about the theory given by Lev Vygotsky. Lev Vygotsky was born in Russia. He was a very famous psychologist and can be considered as the father of social constructivist theory. According to Vygotsky, social interaction influences the cognitive development. He also believed that language plays a major role in cognitive development. Vygotsky also believed that biological and cultural development cannot occur in isolation. Now we will talk about some important terms which are related to our theory. The first one is social interaction. According to Vygotsky, children are curious and they want to be actively involved in the exploration of learning. And much of this learning takes place through social interaction. According to Vygotsky, learning is either cooperative or collaborative in nature. The other term which Vygotsky defined was more knowledgeable other or MKO. According to Vygotsky, MKO is anyone who has a better understanding or a higher ability level than the learner with respect to a particular task, process or concept. The MKO is normally thought of as being a teacher, coach or an older adult, but the MKO could also be a younger person, your peer, your student or even computers. Now another term which Vygotsky defined was zone of proximal development. Vygotsky defined ZPD as the range between what a child can do independently and what a child can achieve with support or help of a MQ. Let us understand with this example. This is the work or the area which a child can do independently. This is which he or she can do with help, and this is the area which he or she cannot do at this moment. So this which he or she can do with somebody's help is considered as the zone of proximal development, and this zone of proximal development changes with time or with the knowledge gained by the learner. For example, if we have a child who is 8 or 9 months old, it may be possible that the child can stand independently, but child cannot walk independently. But may be possible that if somebody gives him some support, he or she can walk a little bit. So we can say that here walking with the help is the zone of proximal development, which will change with the age when he or she will be able to walk without help. Now Vygotsky gave us some strategies through which we can help in learners in their learning process. The first is scaffolding. According to Vygotsky, the role of teachers and others in supporting the learner's development and providing support structure to get the next stage or level is considered as the scaffolding, in which the teacher or the MKO provides the learner some support till he or she gets the mastery towards a particular learning thing. second is reciprocal teaching. It is used to improve a student's ability to learn the text through the practice of four skills. The four skills are summarizing, clarifying, questioning, and predicting. The other strategy, he said that community plays a central role in the process of making meaning. Without community, the learner cannot learn things, and he said that community he helps to make the meaning of the things, so that when the learning becomes meaningful, the learner can learn it more easily. He also said that language plays a central role in the mental development of the child. He said that this is the main means by which adults transmit information to the children. Now, we will talk how can we practically apply Vygotsky's theory to our everyday classroom. The first way could be the physical arrangement in the classroom. We can arrange students' desks in clusters, where they can sit in clusters, and the other work spaces for peer instruction, collaboration, and small group instruction can be created. The other thing could be the strategies for scaffolding. We can motivate the child's interest in the task. We as a teacher can model and define the expectations of the activity. We can also break the task into manageable steps. We can also provide them some directions so that the child remain focused. We can also help in reduce factors that cause frustration. Now, for reciprocal, what we can do, so we can use some props to illustrate each of the four skills, and we can also help students for buddy reading and practicing using these reciprocal strategies. We can also do changes in the lesson content. We can create lessons that engage students' interest and give them a basis for language when socially interacting. We can also use technology and hand-on activities to further engage them in learning. So these are some strategies that can be adopted in our classroom. Thank you.